Hello again, this is Jason from Christ Center Gamer, and we are now going to look at the differences and similarities between the Super Nintendo Classic and the original Super Nintendo hooked up to our television. So, we have here a stereo where the Super Nintendo routes to, which is then converted to HDMI and connected to the television. So this Pioneer here converts the signal on this analog Super Nintendo. And then you have the SNES Classic right here, which does all the conversion internally. So we will get to see the difference and the similarities. So I guess we'll start with the new one, since it actually has a setup menu and everything like that. So we'll take a look at what it displays, what it's like to first turn on your Super Nintendo Classic, and you know, what you can expect to experience out of the box. So let's start. So first, we just turn it on in just like the classic way of sliding the button up. And I have the first controller, and let's see what it looks like on the screen. Okay, so now we get to choose our language. We speak English here? Oh, look at that, right into it. So it looks like it's an alphabetical order out of the box. And it seems to have a default scalars settings. Let's find out. So we got display. We've got 4:3, which I believe is the appropriate default. Pixel perfect, which squishes things a little bit to make all the pixels square. And then CRT filter, which is kind of neat also. I may show you that if we get to that. And then various frames. I'm going to stick with blank for now, because that's probably the most straightforward one, but there's several borders available, as you can see. Okay, so I think that the best test we're going to do to start with, and here's a look at these many games. So we've got Contra 3, great game. Doggone Country, that's fantastic. Earthbound, great, haven't played it. F-Zero, same. Final Fantasy 3, one of my favorite games of all time. Kirby Superstars, fantastic. Dream Force, haven't played that one. Mega Man X, wonderful game. Secret of Mana, great game, played that one to death. Star Fox, wonderful. Star Fox 2, haven't unlocked it yet. Super Street Fighter Turbo, love that game. Super Castlevania 4, it's a great one. Super Girls and Ghosts, fun one, I played with my friends, but I never had it myself. Super Mario Kart, I never had that one, but it's a classic. Super Mario RPG, I never had it either, but it's also a classic. Super Mario World, which is of course a fantastic game. Super Metroid, one of the best games ever. Super Punch-Out, a lot of fun. And Zelda and Yoshi's Island, also some of the best games ever. So I'm going to go ahead and launch Super Mario World, and let's see what this looks like in its new updated up-res glory. Alright, look at that. Nice sharp pixels. Every pixel is very clearly defined, almost too much for the taste of some. And it sure looks and sounds and plays just right, doesn't it? Simulation looks pretty good. Alright. Well, before I get started, I'm going to hit the reset button because there's no way to get back to the home menu from here. But I wanted to show you guys what CRT filter looks like. You might like that. Some people like CRT filter. It's really not bad. Actually, it looks pretty good. It's a very good CRT filter. I'm impressed. Good job, Nintendo. I'm not sure what's better, but it definitely looks sharp. Okay, well let's compare that against the old Super Nintendo Classic. Not Classic, the actual Super Nintendo, excuse me. So if I go to my SNES source, and I turn it on. Okay, one benefit this already has, longer cables. So I can sit comfortably. There you go. Now as you can see, the scaler on my TV isn't very good. The colors look a little kind of oversaturated in some and washed out in others. And you can see funky little more lines around various pixels. It's not terrible, I mean it's definitely playable, but you can see the things are just a little bit blurry. Yeah, you can definitely see it here as well. So let's go back to the Super Nintendo Classic. The new one. We should be able to tell pretty quickly how much better this is. There we go. Oh yeah, that's better. Don't you think? Yeah. And look at that text. Very much more clearly defined. Yeah, I would say this is definitely the way to go if you have the option. I guess the only thing I can notice is the sharp edges around the edges of the screen, but that's not really a big problem. Gotta love this game. And you get to see how bad I am at a game I haven't played in decades. Actually, I didn't do terribly bad considering I'm in front of a crowd. I usually make some big mistake in front of a crowd.
Forgot about those dinosaur-like things.
Yeah. No, I can't go down this. This is the one I can go down. There we go. First level Super Mario World. What a great game this is. Wonderful. Oh yeah, there we go. And you even get your help text. Which, I've played this game so many times I don't really need it. Oh, I had to make one mistake.
Oh, wow.
Oops.
I did not even know you could do that.
Well, that's what happens when you've been playing this game for a very long time.
To figure things out? Yep.
And I got my fire flower.
I've forgotten
and I
a
got
lot
my
about
last
this game.
Yoshi coin coming. Alright, let's see if I can still get a good score on this. There we go.
I don't like those football player guys. I really do not like those guys.
Your narrator is Aaron, my son, in case you were wondering. Alright, well, I think that concludes our SNES Classic first look. As you can see, this is a great system that works perfectly. At least in Super Mario World, which is one of the most important games. And it looks far better than the original does on the same television and configuration. As you can see here. Once again, blurry. It's not the same. See, that's not nearly as good. Yeah, not the same. Not even close. Plays the same.
You can do.
You know what? There's lag.
Thing.
I think it's because my stereo has to do conversion. There's a bit of lag on this version. It's not the fault of the Super Nintendo, obviously. It's the fault of my stereo. That's converting from the yellow component cable to this. But this doesn't feel the same. So it's not meant to be a review of the Pioneer VSX 1019 that I have in here. But in a way it ended up being so, because I can tell you right now the input lag is higher. Definitely higher. It doesn't feel right. It's not unplayable, but you can
Even
tell.
I can tell that this thing is definitely has the pixels you can see very easily.
Oh yeah, the pixel clarity is an understood difference. I just mean the controllers don't feel right. Oh, and I missed my one-up. See? That right there alone proves this is different. It just feels...
The colors might be a little brighter on this because...
No, the colors look fine. I mean, they're a little oversaturated in some colors and under in others. But the main issue is just the input lag. But again, that's not the fault of the Super Nintendo. That's the fault of the
other one being
the
good or
stereo
something?
converting from the yellow cable, because this TV doesn't have an input for that. But here you go, guys. Now you can definitely see the difference.
Yep.
Alright, well, thank you for your time, and hope you enjoyed it. I highly recommend the Super Nintendo Classic if you can get your hands on one. Nintendo has promised that they will produce many, many, many more than they did of the NES Classic, which was nearly impossible to get. We got very lucky on getting ours. But hopefully you have the opportunity to play some of the very best games of all time on this. Thank you and enjoy.